Alright, what we're doing here today is we are replacing the motor in a 249 box mag. My box mag in particular is an A&K 249 box mag, and I have already wired it to a pressure switch, which is another pretty easy mod to do. If there's any interest in that, I can show you how to do that. Mine is also wired to Dean's, so I can use a 7.4 volt LiPo in there, which is why my motors end up burning out a little quicker. But the trade-off is that they feed a lot better because they feed faster. First step here is taking it apart. I've already removed the two screws from the bottom, and the rest of it just kind of, as you can see there, folds out. Then I'm looking at the innards right here. Now, when I'm taking this apart, you'll notice that the motor part is facing towards you. This is the motor that I'm using to replace it. I got a Radio Shack. It's only a couple dollars. It's like a high-speed motor something. They're in the parts bins. Yes, where the hobby motors are, they'll take you right to that. I can put the part number in the description. So here's the motor itself. It does come with a brass gear on it. Doesn't work, doesn't fit, so we usually have to clip it off. I just use these pretty heavy-duty wire cutters. I've tried using a Dremel cutting wheel, but the wheel's actually too wide, and so it starts hitting the body of the motor before I even get the pinion gear half off. So now I'm taking apart the motor, or now I'm taking apart the box mag's innards. Really not all that complicated. There's only a few moving parts. So you remove all the screws, get all the screws out of there. And in general, it's better to keep the motor facing you. Because when you when you split it apart, you'll see here, the gears are all on one half of the box mag, and they stay flat on the table there. And then the motor's in the other half, and none of the stuff on that half actually moves, so you're in good shape. And this box mag, I've also already trimmed down all of those posts that I just pointed at. That helps feeding a lot because it makes sure that the channel's a little bit tighter, so babies can't get next to each other. Here I'm just showing you how the gears line up if they do come apart, and there's some BBs right there that got stuck. You'll see that the big gear that has the clutch on it has two levels. What that does is when your box mag is all loaded up, the gear will start slipping past itself, and that's that clicking noise whenever you overwind. If they do come out, the little gear with the spring on it, the clutch gear, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know, does the actual feeding. That one, I don't know, just demonstrating the mechanism here. If that comes apart, you can fix it with a high cap spring, by the way. In order to put those back in, if they do come out, the smaller one goes in like the middle section of the clutch gear, and they just go together right back on there. Next part of this is real simple, just unsoldering the motor. And the positive the motor is on the bottom, towards the bottom of the box mag, and the negative is towards the top. It's actually labeled on the Radio Shack motor so you can see. And then pulling the gear off the motor is really simple. I just use I don't use the wire cutters. I just use a flathead eyeglass screwdriver to kind of pry it off of there. And then it's pretty easy to just push it back on the Radio Shack motor. The axles, or the commutator, or the whatever you want to call it, they're actually the same size, and it is just a press fit, so it's pretty easy to take on and off. So next here, I'm gonna just solder the things back together. A little bit of solder on both contacts, and you're good to go. Nice and easy. That slides back up in there. It only goes in one way because the little plastic molding that it goes into is a kind of a D shape, and so you really can't mess it up. Here apparently it's easier to put the motor in the half of the shell with the gears in it, as opposed to trying to put it up in the top part of the shell and then lower it down. So just do that, and then I put that down before soldering anything together. Pretty straightforward. Now in this box mag, actually I've taken out the microphone because I don't like the sound control feeding. It's kind of unreliable, and the only other option is constant on, so I just got rid of that in favor for the pressure switch system, which works really well because you can pre-wind it and whatnot. And there you go. All you gotta do is put it back together.